Good day, everyone. Welcome to our IDP public participation meeting for wards 20 and 21. This online public participation process will mainly focus on the community feedback from the municipality, as well as identifying the different needs for wards 20 and 21 for the new IDP process that we will also start. This process will be done online. This is a pre-recorded presentation. And the reason why we've decided to do it in this manner is the uncertainty that currently exists with the load shedding from Eskom, as well as the uncertainty in terms of a possible third wave for COVID-19. So as a municipality, we have decided to do this in a responsible manner by having pre-recorded presentations for our IDP public participation meeting. Okay, so I'm responsible for the presentation for the IDP public participation process. Just again, special welcome to our community members as well as the different stakeholders for Ward 20 and 21. Like I mentioned, is that the focus of our presentation will be on the community feedback for the different priorities that was identified in our 4th generation integrated development plan, but also to identify the new needs for the 2 different wards, as well as the priorities for the 5th generation integrated development plan. However, there are also a few other items that we also need to cover. And as part of our agenda, we will have a look at the legal framework, a quick overview, the timeline for the 4th generation integrated development plan. We'll also look at the IDP public participation process, the objectives of what we're currently busy with. We've also will see the process that you can use to report different service requests, and then we'll get to our 2 most important points for this process, and that is the community feedback and the ward priorities. And after that, we've also got a few very important announcements. As part of the presentation, we've also listed abbreviations that is very important. These abbreviations you will use when you consult the different documents from the municipality. Those documents will include the integrated development plan, the budget, as well as the SDF. And those are the important documentations that we want to consult on. These abbreviations are also part of the presentation, and the presentation will also be available on the municipality's website, as well as the other online mechanisms that you do have available. A quick overview of the legal framework. The integrated development plan and the process is captured within the Municipal Systems Act. Section 25, 1A and B of the Municipal Systems Act stipulates that when a new council is elected, they need to adopt a single inclusive strategic plan for the development of the municipality. Now, that strategic plan we refer to is the Integrated Development Plan, or the IDP. And what is very important is that the IDP needs to link and integrate and coordinate plans and consider proposals for the development of the municipality and align resources and capacity of the municipality with the implementation of the plan. Now, this second section, B, when it specifically refers to resources, we refers to the budget, where the budget will be the implementation plan of our integrated development plan. Also, Municipal Systems Act, Section 21, 29, 1 and B, also sets out the process we need to follow for the adoption of the IDP. And what is very important is that we need to follow a consultative process where we consult the local communities to identify their development needs as well as their priorities. And when we are drafting the IDP, we also need to consult, again, the local community as well as other stakeholders that will include organs of state. And this is also part of that process. As we go to the next slide. Like I've already mentioned, this part of this process is also for the development of a 5th generation IDP document. And just where we are in terms of our process, we are currently in our first stage, the analysis stage. This from 29 November up to 12 January, where we will have our online public participation meetings, where we consult the communities on their needs and their priorities. After that process, we will move to stage 2. That is a strategy process, where there will be strategic session with council and management, where the community needs that we've identified as part of stage 2 will be discussed and will be assessed, and we will see what possible solutions we will be able to implement. Not all needs that were identified as part of stage 2 will be accommodated as part of what we will be able to implement. The third stage, the project and integration stage, that will take place between February and March. During this stage, we'll be looking at more details in terms of the possible solutions, and also to look at what we will be able to accommodate as part of our budget, and also looking in terms of when we will implement those needs. Not all needs that are where there are possible solutions will be implemented within one financial year. So we need to look at the full medium-term period in terms of our budget. That will be a 3-year period, and assess in terms of when those projects will be implemented and by which department. Then in our fourth stage, this will be by the end of March, the draft IDP as well as the draft budget will be presented to council, where council will then take a decision to make this document public for public comment and participation. Then as part of stage 4 in April and May, we will go back to the community, and where we will consult with the community on the draft IDP as well as the budget that was approved for public comment by council in March. So we will have a second public participation process on our IDP budget, and that will also include the SDF. I can move to the next slide. For this process, we've also made available different platforms that communities and different stakeholders can use to submit their inputs or comments. We've also allowed the different pre-recorded presentations to be made available on these platforms. These platforms will include the municipality's website, the Stellenbosch Citizen app, WhatsApp, as well as emails. The email address as well as the other contact details are part of this presentation, and it will also be shared on the municipal website. Also, the objectives, I've already covered the objectives of why we're having these sessions, but also very important to the community and the stakeholders is that from the municipality side, we want to receive inputs and comments by Wednesday, 12 January 2022. We've also got the Let's Fix It initiative from the municipality that allows our community to report any matters or issues relating to water, electricity, road, stormwater, refuse removal, and area cleaning. And we've got the different contact numbers. I would also encourage the community to make use of our dedicated email address as well as our WhatsApp number. You can send your service requests to the WhatsApp number, and they will be in contact with you. So please make use of our Let's Fix It initiative to report any service request. Then we get to one of our most important areas that we would like to cover as part of our public participation process, and that is the community feedback portfolio on our progress with the needs and priorities that was identified in our 4th generation integrated development plan. We will first start with planning local economic development in tourism, and as part of this portfolio, we also look at unemployment and job creation. We all know that COVID-19 had quite a big impact, and as a result of COVID, the unemployment rate within the municipalities also increased. Yesterday, they also shared the latest stats on a national level, and also out of that stats also clearly indicates that there's been a big increase in the unemployment rate. However, it's very important that I need to mention is that job creation is not a municipal mandate. However, the municipality wants to create an environment for to contribute to job creation, and we want to do that as part of the different economic development strategies that we've implemented, and also looking at business development. On the municipality side, we've also got the EPWP projects that we implement, where we get funding from national, but the municipality also makes funding available for these projects. Then also, we've also got various other job opportunities in the form of internships that the municipality also provides. But most of the job opportunities that we do provide within the municipality are through the EPWP project. I would also just like to share a few statistics on the EPWP project with you. We also list the number of EPWP workers, work opportunities that were created per area. If we look specifically in the Vlottenberg-Wraithby area, we've created 12 opportunities in that specific area, and in the Jamestown area, 12. If you move to the next slide specifically lists the opportunities that we created per ward, and here you will be able to see exactly what opportunities were created for Ward 20 and 21. We also need to report in terms of the opportunities that was created per age group as well as gender breakdown. Out of the 889 opportunities that were created, 524 were opportunities for the youth within Stellenbosch municipal area. The EPWP opportunities were also split between male and female, where we created 41 opportunities for males and 478 opportunities for females. Also part of this portfolio is also the tourism, where the municipality also provide funding to a registered local tourism organization that meets the requirements of the municipality. And we also ask that these local tourism organizations also submit their proposals for the 22-23 financial year. And we will invite them to submit their proposals during January 2022. On the local economic development, we also plan to construct the Jamestown Economic Hub. But that hub will be constructed as part of the Jamestown housing project that will be on Farm 527. The next portfolio specifically deals with our housing projects or integrated unit settlements, where we will give feedback in terms of the different projects that we will implement specifically for wards 20 and 21. The municipality is well aware of the current need for basic services for our backyard dwellers, and we are currently investigating the possibilities of providing basic services. But we also need to take into account the legislative requirements to make sure that whatever we plan to do is legislatively compliant. Also for the backyard dwellers, we've also completed a survey during the 2020 and 2021 financial year. Very important for any new housing project is that there is land availability, and we need to make sure land is available before we start with the housing projects. But also the housing projects that we also want to do will form part of our housing pipeline. The housing pipeline includes housing projects for the whole municipal area, and the housing pipeline is also approved and reviewed annually by the municipal council. The housing pipeline must also be in line with the guidelines that issued by national as well as the Provincial Department of Human Settlements to determine the scale of the different housing projects. Digterbay Township development, we're still in the process of completing the township development for Digterbay. The entrance road that was also required will be completed as part of the Longlands development. but only after the 20 houses are transferred to the families. The next slide looks at the Longlands Township development that we all are well aware that is in the implementation stage. The internal services have been completed, and the funding application was submitted for the top structures for the Longlands Township development. Then we move to the Jamestown quarterly feedback meetings with the community. And those feedback meetings do take place from our Human Settlements Department, where they meet with the different communities to give feedback in terms of where they are with the different housing projects that will take place in Jamestown. We also in the procurement phase to appoint a service provider for the implementation of those housing projects. New developments, parks and ECD centers. It is envisaged as part of the Jamestown housing project that they also will include social infrastructure like parks as well as ECD centers, and that will also form part of the big Jamestown housing projects that we currently planning in that specific ward. The next item that we need to give feedback is the title deeds. The municipality is still busy with the title deeds restoration program. This is an ongoing program that we've started in 2016. We are experiencing some challenges as some of the beneficiaries has passed on and they did not have wills in place. So it's very difficult to finalize that process, and also the dependents failed to report the deceased estates to the Office of Master of the High Court for the estates to be administrated and that process to be finalized. So that also creates delays for the transfer of the title deeds. But even with those delays, we have also made quite good progress. And also part of the slide, you'll also be able to see the number of title deeds that was transferred for the different areas. If you look specifically at the Klapmus area, we've transferred 473. So also with these challenges, we had quite good success with the transfer of title deeds. The next portfolio deals with parks and open spaces and environment, cleaning up rivers. We've also like to also inform the community that we've appointed staff under the EPWP project to clean the rivers, but also it's very important that they're only responsible for the cleaning of the vegetation from the river verges. Like I've said, this is part of the EPWP program. For the park sections, pictograms for no smoking and drinking is part of our approved park signage, and the department is also looking at the procurement of bins for the specific parks within the region. If we move to open spaces and library services, just in terms of the operations of the department, they are busy with maintaining of trees and planting of trees, as well as cutting of grass. Those are ongoing projects, and those projects are done during the financial year. With the need for swimming pools, there are no spaces available within the different wards for a swimming pool, and there's also no funding that was made available within the budget to construct swimming pools. Then the library services in Jamestown and Flottenburg. But we've also indicated that due to the uncertainty and influence of the pandemic within the Department of Education, and the department has also not been able to gain permission from the school in principle. So that's a feedback from the library services. Also, Provincial Library Services has also indicated that currently, due to severe budget cuts, no new projects will be considered. So for the library service in Jamestown and Flottenburg, that is the current state. So the construction of libraries or a specific library for the areas and does not form part of the municipality's budget. Next portfolio is youth, sport, culture and public. As part of our mayoral youth skills development program, we've also rolled out various training programs for unemployed youth within the municipal area, where we specifically look at skills that will assist our youth with getting employment within the municipality, and also looking at specifically the opportunities that will be available to our youth. And we've specifically focused on the hospitality industry. So just to also communicate opportunities that we provided for in terms of the training program is that 26 opportunities for plumbing skills, 13 opportunities for 5-star table attendance, 28 for general building maintenance training, 20 opportunities for assistant chef training, learners license program 24, CV writing 74, and job readiness training 85. Then for youth, we've also celebrated Youth Day and in Jamestown, where we reached 40 youth, and this was a partnership with KLab. Also on sports, as we are well aware that most of our sport grounds are vandalized on a regular basis, and it actually costs the municipality a significant amount to repair those sports grounds. We're also looking at providing or safeguarding these facilities, and these vandalism were reported to law enforcement. On Flottenburg, the Bonfoy farm is a private property, therefore the municipal facilities cannot be developed on private property. So also the request for sports grounds within the Flottenburg area, that request is difficult, as indicated that it's mostly private owned land and the municipality does not have space to develop a sports facility in that area. Infrastructure services, if we look specifically for water and wastewater services, water, one of the major projects that we've implemented over the past 5 years has been the extension of the wastewater treatment works in Stellenbosch. That project was completed, and the wastewater treatment works was opened on the 4th of March 2020. With that project, the municipality were able to do various development or continue to do various development within the Stellenbosch area. And of those development that we were able to do will also include the new or the housing projects within Jamestown, as well as the housing project that we're currently busy with in the Longlands area. We also will be looking at completing the new Flottenburg bulk water supply and sewer main. So that is also in process. We're also looking at various new bulk infrastructure upgrades that we also started in the last year and we could still continue in this year. And that is also part of our presentation. But what is very important, need to mention specifically for infrastructure services, that we specifically look at upgrading our infrastructure as well as constructing new bulk infrastructure to ensure that development can take place within Wards 2021, but also within the broader Stellenbosch municipal area. We've also have a project for the leaky repair for our indigent households. We assist indigent households with internal private leaks in their property and the installation of water management devices that are installed free of charge. Borehole augmentation, the municipality is in the process to obtain water use licenses to augment the existing water supply from the city of Cape Town. What this basically means is that we're looking at getting approval from the department so that we can make use of our water that we get from different boreholes and to make that water as part of the water supply for the Stellenbosch municipal area. Electricity services, Flottenburg street lights. The street lights at Kloof Road intersection with Polkadai Road is planned to be upgraded with the lighting at Polkadai. Kloof Road is a provincial road and street lights on provincial roads falls under provincial roads engineer. Arrangement to take over the provision and maintenance of this provisional road are underway. So that's the feedback for the Flottenberg streetlights, for waste management, within the holes for the Greater Stellenbosch, door-to-door refuse collection and service, and area cleaning is ongoing. So we continue with our refuse removal service for the whole municipality. Implementation of waste minimization projects. This is also an ongoing project that we are currently implementing. We are also planning to extend our landfill site. As you also know that we've reached the capacity of our landfill site, and we're busy with the planning process to extend our current landfill site so that we can get additional airspace that we can then use. Currently, our waste is transferred from the Stellenbosch landfill site to Klapmus. Thereafter, it's transferred to Vissershoek in the city of Cape Town. So this is a very important project that we need to finalize as soon as possible. But however, this does not impact the refuse removal service that we are delivering to the Greater Stellenbosch. Also with road transport and traffic engineering, traffic calming for the Greater Stellenbosch. The department is busy with feasibility studies and assessments that have been carried out. Implementation is scheduled for the second and third quarter of this financial year. Roads, stormwater and traffic engineering. With available capital and operational budget for this financial year, the department looks to implement the following projects: the road and reseal program, as well as the intersection improvements program. And that then concludes the portfolio for infrastructure services. The next portfolio is community development and protection services. We all know that safety is one of our biggest priorities within the municipality, but security and safety is not just something that as a municipality we will be able to do on our own. So it's very important that we will need to enter into different partnerships with the different stakeholders, and that will include the SAPS, but also to make use of our neighborhood watches within the different wards. And we're looking at neighborhood watches. There are 2 accredited neighborhood watches within Ward 20, as well as 3 accredited neighborhood watches within the Jamestown, within Ward 21. It will include Jamestown, Mountain View, and Paradise-Kloof. Also, as part of the municipality's budget, we've also assisted these neighborhood watches with safety equipment to ensure that they were able to operate effectively. They've also indicated that we will also, the training of neighborhood watch members have been prioritized in conjunction with the Department of Community Safety and is in progress. When this is done, the focus will shift to school safety. Criminal and illegal activities. Safety and security is a primary function of the South African Police Service. The municipal law enforcement is there to assist. Like I've said, safety and security needs to be a partnership between the municipality, the SAPS, as well as the community. Also on the criminal and illegal activities, we also have weekly operations that are performed throughout the Greater Stellenbosch, and this will also include wards 20 and 21. Also with safety and security, we also feedback on the appointment and delegation of law enforcement officers. As a municipality, do have limited funding available. We can only appoint law enforcement with the funding when funding becomes available, and we will only be able to appoint a certain amount. We will not be able to appoint law enforcement officers to serve the whole or all wards within the municipality. And as additional funding become available, or all funding is being sourced, the municipality will be in a position to fund or to fill law enforcement officers. Smoke alarms is also a project that's ongoing, and this project specifically focuses at providing smoke alarms in our informal settlements and our DRAs. Risk management, the disaster risk assessment are conducted for all wards. This is also an ongoing process within the municipality. School patrols, there's also a function that are provided by traffic services. However, there are limited of staff available to be able to provide the services. as we've also got resource constraints within the municipality. One of the other big projects that we also looking at rolling out over the past financial year and continue to roll out in this financial year is the installation of CCTV cameras. And CCTV cameras we are installing throughout the municipality, and that will include installations that will take place within wards 20 and 21. Then we're also looking at, again, safety and security. These are specific in terms of the CCTV cameras that we will install for Ward 20, Flottenberg and Wraithby and surrounding farms. And in this presentation, we will be able to see exactly the type of cameras and where these cameras will be installed. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. It was part of the presentation. Then also Ward 21, Jamestown, Bad Duisburg and surrounding areas. We also give an indication in terms of the types of cameras that we will replace and where those cameras will be replaced and new cameras will be installed. So like I've said, this is a project that we have that we've done in the past and we continue within this financial year. And it's quite a big project, specifically for safety and security within the municipal area. We've also got, as part of our community development department, we've got programs for our elderly persons within the municipality. Part of this, there are transversal projects with services to elderly persons has severely been compromised by the COVID-19 pandemic. And the elderly persons are also the most vulnerable group of citizens. Therefore, all engagements with our elderly persons has been postponed or cancelled, and this is a result of COVID-19. Services that are delivered focused around COVID awareness is prevention and vaccination. Attention was also paid to the impact of mental health on the elderly resulting from social isolation. Within the Greater Stellenbosch, we also give feedback in terms of what we have done for our elderly persons, but specifically for our Flottenberg area. We have provided access to information, for example, funeral services, the writing of wills, and social support within the Flottenberg area. ECD and children programs. The municipality continues to work towards strengthening relationship with grassroots organizations to the benefit of local ECDs. Collaborative approach towards development of the sector will continue. For the Greater Stellenbosch, workplace readiness and PPE compliance programs at ECD facilities, capacity building and access to information related to ECD registration in collaboration with DSD, Cape Winelands District Municipality, Municipal Planning and Fire Services, and TEEC. We also assist with application process for the ECD stimulus funding applications. So there's also assisting being provided to our ECD center, as well as the GIS mapping of the 131 ECD registrations that we received. And also Jamestown specifically, Child Protection Week was celebrated in partnership with DSD, Stelcare, ELRU, Cotlands, Working on Fire, SAPS, and internal municipal departments. As part of community development, they've also got gender programs as well as persons with disabilities. Under the gender programs, I'm specifically going to give feedback for the Jamestown area. Jamestown Women Empowerment Session discussed the biological onslaught on women that accompanied COVID-19. On persons with disabilities, child protection for persons with disabilities, and we've also reviewed the universal access policy to make sure that we also cater for persons with disabilities. People on the street, from the municipality side, we've also provided assistance for people on the street. For Stellenbosch municipality, that's the whole Stellenbosch area, A campaign to stop the cash economy on street has been initiated to give a dignified wage to persons on the street who need access to social services and a warm bedside facilities and access to social work services. The Cheese app has been developed to assist with taking cash off the street. This means that a resident can now assist some homeless person without being in the vicinity of a retail partner selling coupons. Currently, there are 15 local businesses that are supporting this campaign. 5 marketing videos are used on different platforms to educate the public on the campaign. Animal welfare in Stellenbosch, a walker dog exchange for a coupon. The project started towards the end of the financial year with almost 56 persons benefiting. 1 person gained full-time employment through the project and 1 was temporarily employed as a driver. And that part of the slide also shows the stats in terms of the coupons that were sold, redeemed, as well as the app sales and the app redemption. Next slide also just illustrates the people on the streets. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the slide. We can continue to grant in aid. Also, as part of the municipalities program, we also provide funding in terms of our grant in aid policy. And we provide donations to our community organizations. These organizations specifically focus on youth, gender, ECDs, old age homes, health organizations, and sports clubs. For our capacity building workshop, 162 prospective applicants attended the workshop. We received 126 applications, and through our grant in aid funding, we provided funding to the amount of 4.9 million rand to 90 applicants. Social relief of distress. This is also assistance that we also provide to the different communities. These assistance are specifically provided in disaster situation like we live during a fire disaster. This is one example. 71 incidents were responded to, and the following resources were distributed: 337 mattresses, 497 blankets, 155 food parcels, 458 vanity packs, and 17,124 meals. The next portfolio is corporate services, property management specifically, and one of the needs which identified is availability of land for ECDs. And just to provide feedback on that need is that there currently are no specific land that is being identified for ECD facility within these 2 wards. We get to our second important area for this presentation, and that is the 2027 ward priorities. And this is to give an opportunity to the communities of Ward 20 and 21 to submit comments or inputs, specifically focusing on what their needs are within their wards or what their priorities are for their specific wards. We will also allow opportunity for other role players to also provide inputs. So just to explain the process to everyone, as you can also see in the slide, the first process is submit inputs and comments on the electronic submission form on the website. The electronic submission form can also be accessed on the other electronic mechanisms that we've made available, that being the Stellenbosch Citizen app. You can also use WhatsApp to also provide. And then we've also indicated that you can also do so on Facebook as well as emails. So there are various means that are available for you as a community to provide your inputs on the ward priorities as well as the ward needs. So it's very important that you make use of these opportunities that are given, and the due date for that is 12 January 2022. Also part of the presentations, also very important announcements that we also need to make. Part of our integrated development plan is also the spatial development plan, and we're also in the process of amending our SDF. So it's very important that the community must also give their input, and when we start with the SDF review process, also to highlight that the SDF is a core component of the IDP, and Council will need to adopt the amended SDF for the new 5-year IDP. The SDF provide guidance on where and when a budget should be spent in the municipal space to achieve spatial transformation and development outcomes of the municipality. The SDF provides a map of the long-term spatial vision and a path to get there. Importantly, the SDF considers how a municipal area should be best developed over time. So as you can see from the slide and explanation that was given, the SDF is a very important part of our IDP, as it sets out spatially where the municipality intends to develop over the medium and long term. The following slide just sets out the amendment process for our SDF. The need to amend the SDF arose from the review of the SDF in other municipal strategic plans and policies and decisions. As you also know, circumstances has changed from the last amendment that was made in 2019, and therefore we'll need to start with the amendment process. The amendment of the SDF will be prepared as part of the municipality's IDP in accordance with the legislative provisions. And these legislative provisions are the Systems Act, PLUMA, LUPA, as well as the municipality's bylaw. Then the process that will be followed is set out in the approved 2023 IDP process plan. So the process will form part of and will be included as part of the approved process plan for the IDP. And all stakeholders, holders, government departments, and the public will be consulted and afforded opportunities to make representation during the process. The next slide just sets out the key dates and actions and when those and who the role players will be. So where we are currently, we are in the third process, the process between 29 November and 12 January. And the action there is the SDF amendment, IDP and budget public participation period for the development needs and priorities. And the role players there are the community and stakeholders, like I've already mentioned. This is opportunities that are afforded to you to provide inputs and comments, and also to identify needs and priorities for your different wards. Thereafter, the SDF will run the same process as the IDP, where it will be presented to council. The draft amendments will be made public for public comment. And then also in September 2022, the SDF amendment notice will be also placed for public comment. The next announcement is the municipal boundary redetermination by the Municipal Demarcation Board. The Municipal Demarcation Board determined the municipal boundaries, and this is done in terms of the Municipal Demarcation Act. The 2021 local government elections, following the 2021 local government elections, the Municipal Demarcation Board redetermination is now open. All stakeholders and members of public who wish to submit proposals may do so now until 31 March 2022. Proposals submitted must be motivated in terms of Section 24 and 25 of the Municipal Demarcation Act and Section 2 of the Municipal Structures Act. Proposals to be addressed for the attention of the chairperson of the Municipal Demarcation Board, and the details are also part of the slide. You also have the email address as well as a fax number. The postal address is also there, as well as the contact number. Also is the Census 2022. It's also part of the census. There's also a process that will be undertaken. The census is conducted once every 10 years. The last one was conducted in 2011, and plans are in place to conduct the fourth population count. In between the censuses, a large-scale sample survey is conducted, and it's called the community survey. And the last one was done in 2016. Just to set out the key dates for the census 2022 is the first date what already passed is 25 October 2021, where it was open for registration. Between the 3rd and 15th December, there will be national training. 3 to 13 January is provincial training. Then 18 to 28 January is district training. 2 February is census night. Between the 3rd and 7th February is online self-enumeration. And then between 3 and 28 February is data collection. 1 and 9 March is the no response follow-up. And then there's also then a date for 10 March. And that will then conclude the census for 2022. Also to share with everyone, there are contact employment. The night of 2 February 2022 will be a reference point on which everyone will, within the borders of South Africa, will be counted. Stats SA is a nationwide recruitment drive to appoint prospective candidates for field work that will include collecting data from respondents and other activities involved in the enumeration and post-enumeration phases. Recruitment will be through online database to ensure that people are recruited from the areas of residence. The recruitment database will open 25 October and it will close on 31 December. To register on the database, you can visit the Stats SA website, and the website is also shared as part of this presentation. So there are contact employment opportunities, and I would ask that the people that are unemployed within these two different wards make use of those opportunities. Also, we've also got the contact information that's also now shared as part of the slide. So if you need to get in contact with the municipality, you can visit the IDP office at the contact number that's shared on your screen, as well as you can also make use of the email address. The SDF offices, there's also a telephone number you can use to contact the SDF office, and there's also a dedicated email address. We've reached the end of the presentation for the IDP public participation process for Ward 20 and 21. I would like to thank you for your time. And again, I would just like to remind you that you can provide input for our integrated development plan that we are in the process of drafting by the 12th of January. You can also provide input on the amended SDF. So please make use of your opportunity to provide the municipality with inputs, as well as to identify your needs for your different wards, as well as your priorities, so that we can evaluate those priorities and include it as part of the fifth generation integrated development plan. Thank you.